Hello there, everybody. This is Force Secret, your dear cleric, welcoming you all to a reaction of Alton Brown Cooks Food, episode 30, Restake Your Claim. So this is all going to be about beef, it seems. You can tell by the cow. Also, you can't really see it here, but if I move myself a little bit, you can see on the bottom there, on the udders, there's a tap for strawberry chocolate and vanilla milk, which is absolutely wild. It's crazy. They will do that. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started.
John Wayne ate steak.
Ate steak, or ain't steak. Oh,
That
hey
was
there.
my first line. First line of the first episode of a television series called Good Eats, which premiered in July
Really?
of 1999.
Oh,
The pilot
wow.
episode called Stake Your Claim was actually filmed in August of 1997. And I say
Wow,
filmed
2
because
whole
we
years?
actually shot it on film.
Dang.
It just goes to
that's
show you
nice.
how long ago it was. Anyway, during that
We're old.
program,
Mhm.
I only cooked one thing, which was unheard of for culinary shows back in those days. I cooked
Mm-hmm.
a ribeye steak, and I came up with a method to mitigate or reduce or isolate out unknowns.
Isolate out.
So I seared it on both sides in a very, 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 very hot cast iron skillet, and then I finished it in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to stay away from the fact that none of us really know what gas cooktops are doing, right? It's a little ring of fire, it's a big ring of fire, it's high, it's who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to
Eliminate the
weed out
unknowns here.
and I think it worked.
Yeah.
Worked fine.
Very scientific
The recipe's
method of
been
it.
well reviewed for 29 years.
Nice.
Last week in an airport, a fan came up and he asked me, "Alton, do you still cook your ribeyes that way?" And you know what I said?
No.
No,
I knew it.
never. I never cook them that way. And the reason is that so many of the unknowns back then are now knowable because of changes primarily in technology, which we'll get to. So I'm going to do this over again today on Alton Brown Cooks Food. I'll be remaking my current
Alton Brown
recipe,
takes on food
rather,
by Alton
for
Brown.
a ribeye steak, the way that I really do it. And I'm breaking this down into the meat, the heat, and the method. We'll
Nice.
begin with the meat, which of course comes from the beef critter. Now, as
Beef
you
critter.
note, this is not a steer. Steers don't have, well, cows don't have the spigots either, but
This is the spigots.
underlying plank is not something that a steer has. Steer has horns though, we
You mix it of
this
both,
one has been
you know.
broken down into its primal cuts: the chuck, the shank, the rib, the short loin, sirloin, round, short plate, and what have you. Now, the general rule
I don't think
with beef
people
critters is the further
eat or
from
cook the
horn
udders,
and
right?
hoof, the more
Ugh.
tender. So if we literally
Cows
would
in
like
US
to,
seem to get
measure
less
the
portions
furthest
to me.
distance
Yeah.
from a horn
Uh-huh.
and a hoof, we would be right here in the rib primal. The
Mhm.
rib primal
Well, yeah,
sits
because it's a rib
right
eye.
in between the short loin, where we get things like strip steaks and tenderloins,
Mhm.
and the chuck, which can actually be very, very tender back here. In fact, the ribs, the actual ribs, start up in this section and move into this section. The rib, very tender, very flavorful, which is why I imagine
Because there's not
it
a lot
is
of like.
America's favorite steak by far. It is the number one steak that is served by steakhouses, and it is the number one steak purchased in grocery stores, despite the fact that it can be darned costly. Getting the
Yeah.
most out of it, well, let's say that there are some advantages and disadvantages. One of the great advantages is that it's fatty enough to stand a little bit of overcooking without any real dryness. The challenge comes from the fact that every single steak cut off of the ribs in that primal are different.
Yeah.
They're different steaks. This is not
So,
something
yeah.
that I dealt with on that show, but come on, I was 12 and just getting started.
12.
Don't go back and look at it. My hair, the clothes, it's just terrible. Anyway, so we're going to dive into this now.
Oh,
So I'm just
there
going
it
to
goes.
grab my steaks
Ah, very easy.
and we'll get to work.
See like the really rough cuts they had to do to that like cow statue.
Let's now take a look at two random ribeyes and see what the differences are. See if we can figure out where they came from.
There's a lot
on the
more
critter.
fat
All
on
right,
the
now, sample
left one.
Okay. made a little plate to help out. Here, there are
Oh,
clearly
wow.
4 muscles. This is the eye.
Oh, this is
The
really
eye,
going
the
into
longimanus dorsi.
detail. Oh my god.
Delicious. It tends to remind people, or at least me, of a tenderloin. So, not my favorite muscle. Then we've got the spinalis dorsi, this kind of crescent-shaped piece right here. This is referred to as the cap, and it is highly desirable, especially by serious beef connoisseurs. So, typically, the bigger that is, regardless of where it came from, that's
a good thing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, but this tells us a lot. This little muscle is called the complexus, and
Because it's very complex.
It gets bigger as you head towards the head of the animal, into the chuck. And then we've got the little castarum here. It's fine. It's a tasty bite or two, but it's not something people really pay
seems
a lot
really
of attention
small.
to. So I'm going to guess, just by looking at this composition, that we're talking about probably a steak from the 8th rib, maybe the 7th, but I'm thinking the 8th. Let's take a look at another. Okay, here's another sample.
Oh, look at
bought
that.
at
A
the
lot
same
more
time,
bigger.
Same grocery store. Here,
Only
we
3
still
distinct.
got the longimanus dorsi, but notice it's larger now.
Yeah.
Okay, and the complexus is totally gone, and the spinalis, although longer,
You
is
said a
kind of
lot more
shrinking,
back.
in breadth. Castarum's still there, so I'm going to guess this came from around the 10th rib,
Yeah.
heading back towards the loin of the animal. Which to cook? Look, they're both delicious. I would
So
say
easy to
that
remember
I would
what part of a
probably,
cow is English.
if I was going to be slicing
Wow,
it
really?
and serving it on a platter for a couple of people,
Dang.
I would probably want the 10th rib model, simply because it's going to carve easily and be more uniform on a plate. If I'm going to just cook it and plop it onto the plate like a caveman, which I totally am, I'd probably go with this
Totally am.
muscle model. I think it's just a little tastier, but that's just me. They're both delicious if we handle them correctly.
I swear, his intonation is such
Salt.
like a sign, like a
Kosher
madman.
salt.
I love it.
Applied, in my preference, 8 to 12 hours before cooking. You can do less, but more is better. I know there's this old wives' tale. I shouldn't say that. It's not a wives' tale. It's a wrong story about salting meat before cooking. Like, don't salt the meat. You'll pull the moisture out. Yes, that's what
point.
I want to do.
Yeah, that's the
I
point.
want to pull some moisture out. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon to each side of the steak, just letting it rain.
Steak is
letting it rain on
1.5
steak.
inches thick and
Nice
1
and
pound
even.
8 ounces.
Do this from higher, not lower. Okay, so that you get a nice.
You go to the cooking
even
school and the
tone,
lady
right? Just let that.
every
that
part,
there.
and also
This
every
is
part of the
kosher
pig
and
and
salt,
fish.
so it's
Wow.
going to stick very
I guess
well.
it makes
Yes,
sense.
I'm going
Depending
to
on
stick
which sort of
my,
restaurant you're
hand,
going to.
touch the raw steak back into the salt, because if anything can live in there, well, it can have me.
You can have you.
Here now, some people call this dry brining. It's not dry brining. There's no such thing as dry brining. There is no such thing as a brine that is dry. Okay?
Because the brine is
I call this
a saline
micro
solution.
brining.
Okay.
It's like microdosing, except
Okay, fine.
because what's going to happen here, of course, is
Hello,
that the salt is
fellow
going to do
youths.
its thing, and it is going to pull moisture up out.
Sure,
of
that
the
is a
surface of the
sugar,
steak,
it's almost
and
exact
it is
same
going,
utensil.
That moisture is going to dissolve
Oh.
the salt, thus turning it into a brine,
Mm-hmm.
a micro brine, but still a brine, a wet liquid into which salt is dissolved. And what's going to happen over time is that a good bit of that brine is going to soak back into the meat. And that is going to elicit multiple changes, but only if we give it time and air. And I know just the place.
Pencil vessel. Yeah,
I speak,
Duck's
of
real
course,
mayonnaise.
of the refrigerator,
Basic
where
sour
we
cream.
will stash our steak for right around 12 hours. Now, as I said, you could do this with less time.
Oh my god, he's gonna set up a whole fan in there?
Especially if you were to employ a small rechargeable fan.
That is.
USB. I use this to dry meat all the time. And of course, since it doesn't have a cord, you can use it in here. I will
Cocktail
come
onions.
back,
Yeah, it seems so.
every
Yeah, I
now
see them.
And then a couple
Mazzata.
hours, and give it a turn, flip it over, just to make sure that.
And this is going ostensibly extra
what
here
this
with
is going
the
to do-
fan.
yeah, I know, I've got the door open. What this is going to do is create what's called a pellicle. That is kind of a dry, tacky, protein-heavy surface, which is something that we would want if you were, say, smoking fish. We're not smoking fish, but what it'll also do is increase browning or help enhance the Maillard reactions when it's time to put this to the pan. And that will be the next step. Patience. You know.
You can see the cow in the background. that's where the heat, huh? So
this is
ooh,
an induction
cooktop, huh?
And I mean, we've had these for a while, but they've become much more commonplace. And in fact, in my home kitchen, which some of you may have seen from content on other platforms, I don't even have a gas cooktop anymore. I only have induction. And the reason that I'm willing to use this for steak now is that we can dial in exact levels of energy and consistently get there every single
instead of
time.
like having to worry about like fire and all that stuff.
It's a really good unit. It's made by a company called CookTech. Not paid to say that. And it goes from, if you look at the controls here, we can actually set it from 1 up to 20. Okay, now
wow,
I could
the 20,
set it for actual temperatures, but I don't want to do that because what I can do with 1 to 20 is I can divide it up, right? I can know, okay, I'm going to go medium heat is 10, medium high is 15. Low is, I've got a way to kind of repeat that. And so that's
got a system.
What I do now.
Got a system.
The other reason that I cook my steak this way now is because I like to fiddle with it. I like to fiddle with my meat.
Don't we all?
While it's cooking. And,
very true.
Especially because I have found that the more I flip my steaks, the better off they are. So I know that we've talked about induction.
You just get a lot more pleasant time when you play with your meat more often.
But it kind of bears repeating. So induction cooktops do not create heat at all of any type, and in fact,
because like it's all magnetic.
Days demonstrating these things, people would put like $100 bills in between the pan and the cooktop, and it wouldn't catch on fire and all that.
There's a way to cook cover it in a salt hill and bake it. Yeah,
big coil
becomes hard, and you need to.
That generates.
He actually, Alton Brown actually did that sort of thing in an episode where he actually cooks fish. You should watch it.
Of the field.
I don't recall which episode number it is.
How does that get hot? Well,
he does make a whole like salt dome around the whole flounder.
Heat.
I think
there's no such thing as creating hot. Well,
inducing. Oh.
Let's pretend for just a moment. It's an incredibly lame model that these little balls are electrons. Now there are a lot of free electrons kind of floating around inside
the science,
the structure of a pan like this. And what happens is that this coil, this magnetic field, oscillates. It goes back and forth very quickly, changing polarity thousands and thousands of times a second, and that creates movement.
A lot of movement.
So that these guys are all kind of moving around, trying to react to that eddy and those
inside of the metal itself, instead of like burning yourself, unless you actually touch the pan.
Because of the friction, we get heat. So the cooktop does not get hot. The pan itself gets hot. And the only reason that the cooktop gets hot at all is because it's a direct contact with
the pan.
All of this situation. So
lost the ball there.
Is what we are going to do. The only potential downside to cooking with induction is that not all pans are created equal.
You can only do that with
Knowing
very specific.
Whether a Potter pan is induction compatible is really as simple as just slapping on a magnet. The magnet sticks, and this is just 2 magnets on the back of this thermometer. You could use a refrigerator magnet, any magnet at all. The more firmly it sticks, the better suited it is to induction. So here's my old favorite copper pan. Oh no. Can't use that on induction. Well, actually, you could, but you'd have to use a steel or iron diffuser under it, and I don't want to mess with that today. Next up, we've got good old cast iron. Boom! Nothing really works better.
Because induction cooktop, as I said, uses electromagnetism to cook, heat up.
Very high, clearly. So these things are perfect for induction, but not perfect for all cooking. More of that later. Aluminum. Will it induction? No, it will not. Aluminum cannot take part in the magnetic game we're playing, unless, of course, it's got some steel sandwiched in between its layers, which this one does not. Now, here we have a nitrided steel pan. Nitride is basically a new kind of non-stick surface that instead of being applied is actually embedded. It's actually, the steel is superheated in a high nitrogen environment so that the nitrogen kind of forms almost like a ceramic surface. Very, very, very tough.
Interesting.
Almost completely non-stick, only pretty much last forever, and it is Certainly.
Nice.
Induction ready.
Steel nitrated.
Very highly ferrous. That magnet really sticks. And you can see that this was actually designed with
Induction cooking
in mind because it has the induction symbol. Look for that. Enamel cast iron. Well, the enamel doesn't change anything. It is still ideal, although I probably would not use this for something like a steak. I might,
like this Dutch oven, yeah.
And then we've got kind of an oddball here. This is stainless steel, or appears to be.
Appears to be.
Stainless steel typically is an alloy, has too low of a ferrous content to really work, but this does. This pan is pretty old, predates induction, so it doesn't have the symbol, but it does have a nice ferrous layer sandwiched inside its other metals. So it works perfectly fine. So the only way to really know, since I've got other pans that look just like that in the kitchen, is you got to go around and do the magnet
method,
the magnet test. You've got to do the test. Now, which one of these fine vessels will I be using today?
Cast iron.
Will it be the cast iron?
I am assuming.
Will it be the nitrided steel? Or will it be the magnetic stainless? There are temptations everywhere here.
Temptations abound, really.
Nothing works better on induction than cast iron. But it's not actually a very good conductor. It takes a long time to get hot, and when it does, it stays hot for a really long time. It's not very responsive. And if I was just cooking a steak, that might be okay, but I'm also hoping to make a sauce, a pan sauce at the end.
A sauce,
I might want a little bit more control. I might want a metal that sheds heat a little bit faster. Now, the nitrided steel, that's tempting. It's very tempting because it does tend to shed heat faster than cast iron. It's also less mass. It's got that nice kind of non-stick surface on it, but it's kind of dark, which means when I get small pieces of vegetation in there for my pan sauce, which is going to be a butter, delicious, by the way.
Ooh, nice.
I'm not going to be able to really use visual cues to know whether it's ready or not. In other words, because it's a dark pan, it would be easy to burn things once the steak's out. And then there's, of course, this great old stainless steel model, which is a darn good pan, a little on
well
the
used,
side.
yeah.
But the nice thing about it, why should that matter? I've got cast iron around here over 100 years old. Works great. Pretty responsive. Since I'm using induction, I know that the heat source is going to be constant and fairly even, unlike, say, gas on a cooktop. And it will give me the visual cues that I need
because it's silver?
For doing my sauce. So you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going with the old steel. I'm going with the old stainless steel. Yep.
Awesome.
It is an oldie, but a goodie. And just want to point out that the magnet sticks very, very, very well to the back and to the sides, which tells me there's a ferrous sandwich going on in there. It doesn't stick quite as well to the face.
Middle.
It does, but I can tell not so much. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is that it's dirty. Gotta wash this.
Gotta clean it. The method, eh? All right, now this is gonna be interesting. Oop. Behind the fan. Dry and tacky. Secret ingredient. Oh, I didn't get to see that.
Here's the other stuff you're going to need. Some unsalted butter, some black pepper, freshly ground, good bit of that actually. Beef tallow.
Ooh, beef tallow. Ooh, that's going to be
beef
interesting.
Fat, secret ingredient here. Also 1 shallot, 2 cloves of garlic, and, hold it, I got it here someplace. A few sprigs of thyme. Let's say 10.
Where'd you get that from?
Count them. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we need to melt this tallow, which is solid at just below room temperature. So just maybe like, oh, that smells good.
Don't.
Don't.
Don't. Cardiologist wouldn't like. Do you think they're gonna like whatever happens at the end of this end of the cooking?
My cooking pan over medium-high heat. Actually, I'm going to start it just a little bit lower than that, and then I'll boost it at the last minute to prevent splattering. And I'll put that metal measuring cup right in there to melt the tallow.
And like a double boiler?
Big knife. I need about a tablespoon of shallot, so I'm going to go about half of this large specimen here. I'm going to go with the traditional French cut, not like I do an onion. I actually do the French thing, lateral cuts, several cross cuts here, maybe about 4 of those, and then just slice through.
Slice it through. We learned about like his knife technique last time. We reacted to Alton Brown.
Unless you're left-handed, then it's the right hand.
Look at that. Lovely.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw that over there. Let somebody else clean it up. As for the garlic,
let somebody else
I
clean it up.
Fish it out. So I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to crush it lightly. Just kind of split it open with a board scraper there, because I'm going to want to get that out of the sauce. Don't want to leave it in there. There you go.
I want to leave it in there.
Perfect.
Interesting. Just want to impart the garlic flavors. And
As for the time, you don't have to do anything at all. Leave it on the stem. All right, there's everything. Our sauce, mise en place, except for the butter and one other thing. As to the steak, I'm going to paint on some of that melted tallow, and you'll notice.
Oh wow! Look at that.
The steak is cold, and I am using
so it's like
directly from
French cut of the way that
right
on about cutting onion and shallots.
Before it sets up all the way.
That's cool though.
Sprinkle, grind on.
Yeah, you can see like the tallow knit like.
I really do think that the tallow
froze up
this whole operation. Gonna flip and repeat on the other side. I do believe in cooking steaks directly from the refrigerator. I don't do any of that letting it sit out at room temperature business. But I do understand it looks a little unusual. More pepper.
Don't worry. Instantly sort of like coagulated.
Solidified. Trust me on this. Perfect.
I'm surprised he did. It's not.
Right,
well, no, he already did salt it earlier.
The heat just a little bit to full medium high.
Time to sear it. Yeah, look at that.
Percent power. Right as the meat goes in, and I'm going to set a timer to go off every minute for 6 minutes.
that's a funky looking timer. I love it.
Each minute it gets a turn. I'm not going to touch anything for 1 minute. I'm going to stand here
for 1 minute.
Oh, and I'm going to get myself a clean pan to land on in a minute. Stay there. Watch this.
Mine looks like a meat donut.
This whole
like
is
glazed over.
Flipping every minute for 6 minutes. Every single minute for 6 minutes. Then we'll temp. With an instant read thermometer through the side and see where we are. I don't think we'll be at our target temperature at that point, which is 122, by the way. But we'll see. I think that we'll probably then reduce the heat a little bit. Here we come.
Lift one.
There we go. Now, this whole flipping thing is kind of like sipping instead of guzzling, right? Because we're letting the heat come in one side and then we're letting it back off while it goes into the other side. My goal here is to get the best crust that I can get on the surface of this meat while also getting the most medium rare in the middle. The reason
How do you
that
guys
I
like your steak?
Do this
like I like mine more medium well done.
29 years ago was one, of course, it was in the oven a good bit of the time, but also I'd been trained by French people. Besides yelling
French people,
me, had told me to leave the food alone, or that it wouldn't cook in the air. They love to say that. And the truth is moving the food around doesn't really hurt things at all. Oh, and I really like having a timer that repeats the minute countdown so that I don't have to.
Time to go. This is awkward. He's not cooking the sides, I see, like searing the sides. Look at that. Getting more and more darker on each side, each subsequent flip. Also, I think no, the sides aren't necessarily like getting any more well cooked this way. Oh, now it looks properly seared. Also, the middle is kind of like.
And now I'm going to sear the sides.
There it is.
This is tricky. Oh, shut up. See, I've got a lot of raw meat here on the side. So I'm just going to kind of slowly work my way around.
And make sure it's a
While
very
I sear
delicate.
this side, I'm going to go ahead and get that temperature reading.
Probably should have prepped that beforehand, buddy.
We're going to go straight in the side.
Difference.
You guys can see that. And we are clearly not there yet. So what I'm going to do
juniper and
is
rosemary.
Turn the heat down to medium low and let it cook for another 3 minutes on each side.
I've never actually. I don't think I've had juniper before. I've had rosemary bread,
make that
but not like steaks.
Depending on the exact size and weight of your steak.
Oh, look at that! Over that, the drain.
Drain the pan, because I don't want the burned pepper taste and all the tallow. It's done its job. I've got the heat actually turned off right now. There's plenty of residual heat. And I'm just going to go with 2 tablespoons of butter. And as that melts, it's going to cool the pan down a little bit.
You said this is a butter
So
sauce
go ahead
now.
and add the thyme.
A lot of people say add thyme. Like I've never done that, but probably because like we've never had like fresh thyme.
The popping, that's the thyme leaves as they fry. The aroma is pretty gosh darn terrific. I wish we'd worked out that smell-o-vision. Since I've got
Worked out
foam in
that
here, but
smell-o-vision.
the butter's not quite melted, I'm going to turn the heat back on very, very low, super low, like level 3 out of 20. So we'll call that very low.
Yeah, just so make
I'm
sure
not going to
it
leave
keeps.
that thyme in long enough to burn.
Don't think most people do.
Just kind of park it over here to the side.
From what I've seen, like always the thyme things gets added but never used.
Not yet on the
It'll
garlic.
be add time. Yeah, I know.
When garlic burns, the party's pretty much over. So I want to be a little careful about that. Low heat now. Let the pan cool down. The thyme's off to the side, frying. The steak is resting comfortably. Very nice char on that. Very appealing.
Yeah, it looked really
now
good.
Would be an okay time to introduce the garlic.
The garlic.
Again, crushed. I'm not going to let that garlic cook more than about a minute because as soon as it turns brown, it turns black. And then the entire dish will taste like burnt garlic, and I don't think I want that. Yeah, after about a minute,
There it is.
minute and a half,
Kind of got to fish it out a little
I'm going
bit.
to go ahead and start fishing out the garlic. You know what? If you really love garlic, you can leave it and roll the dice. I'm going to go ahead and take out the thyme because I don't want a toothpick.
A toothpick. Yeah, I don't want like
And then if there's a
it
secret
getting too
ingredient,
crispy.
and I'm not saying there is, but if there is, it's ice.
Ice.
Ice is going to, of course, cool things down, keep anything from burning.
One
and
ice
also,
cube.
As the water melts off of the ice, it's going to form an emulsion. This is a
That's it. That's
procedure
fascinating.
called a beurre monté.
For sure, not
a
for-
monté à beurre. That's a
Oh,
different
that's
thing
about it.
altogether.
Very
This is
easy.
a beurre monté. So we're basically making a water
Get some
butter sauce.
asparagus.
And I'm going to turn up the
Gnocchi.
heat just a
Whoa.
little and just whisk that.
I know that
briskly
in the
until
in the
ice
past
cube
we
is
used to
gone. I'm
like
using
use
ice
butter
because I really don't
when
want
we
any
were
other flavors.
cooking
You might be
garlic
thinking,
and,
oh, why does it
and
need to be
asparagus.
glazing with vermouth or something. That's not the same
Like
procedure.
as we go on,
The
like I
water
kind of like
from
didn't
the,
want to
the butter
like
is
have to
melted,
always
get
break
all
out the
the
butter
glazing
and
we
use that
need.
up.
So this is just about thickening
I
up
moved
that
to
butter a little bit.
cooking asparagus
Not too much.
with just like
All
regular
right, killing the heat. There's still just a teeny
Olive oil.
piece of that ice. There. That can stay there while we turn our attention to the carving process. I like a longish knife for this chore, and I
Oh, look
always
at
want to
that.
cut on the bias. Now, this is done a little bit more than I would like. I'm going to call this medium. I didn't tip it right, I guess, but I'm okay with medium.
That's all right.
There's enough fat to.
But I like my medium well. Like some pink is
probably
good, but I
wrong,
don't like a
so
lot
it's
of
fine.
like excessive pink.
There. I usually transfer to a platter that has been littered with fresh herbs. Just use an offset spatula for that. And, well, we'll just magic it in. Voila. There.
There it is. Got a lot of
sauce
time
in this
there, but
case
like I guess not use
is
it.
very, very important because the truth is I cook this a couple degrees beyond my usual target temperature. So it's medium instead of medium rare. But that's okay because now it's covered with butter sauce. And quite frankly, it's ribeye. It has enough fat to go to medium. Heck, I may start doing that on purpose. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go finish that. Is it the ultimate ribeye? No,
Yeah.
probably not. After all, it's not prime beef. It's choice. Oh, it's pretty damn good. I'm just going to leave this here so you can watch. See you next time on Alton Brown Cooks Food and then eats it. I lied. I'm not leaving this for you. I'm taking it all.
Oh no, no! How could you? All right then. Well, that was a nice look into how Alton cooks his steak again after how many years? He said it was initially 29, right? So it was initially filmed in 97. It's 2026 now. That's cool. Like the Japanese, of course, I would go with that. You would add the breadcrumbs, and a bit of orange. Oh wow, that's cool. Thank you very much for the insight, Grumpy. But yes, let me know what you guys think, and let me know what type of like how you like to take your steak. Like, do you like a very rare, like, or even in the occasional blue steak? Oh my goodness, I can never imagine. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.